Hey guys, hope you're well. Today I kind of wanted to do a bit of a tutorial type video. So basically explaining how to change a toilet. I know it's not a very nice job, but you know, some people that don't really want to pay for a plumber to come out and want to have a go at it themselves, rather than completely messing it up and causing damage to their house. Just wanted to kind of do a bit of a tutorial on how to change a toilet really. But yeah, so enjoy. So these are the tools that you're going to need. Got a screwdriver, flathead or crosshead, spanner, grips. These are the flat jaw Nipex grips, a normal set of grips, spanner and impact driver. So this is the toilet that's going to come out. It's leaking all over the place and flush is gone, mastic everywhere, so they just wanted it replacing. There's a drip from there as well, so, and the toilet seat's broken. So first thing you're going to want to do is either turn the water off at the mains, or if you've got a isolator or service valve, just use a flathead screwdriver and switch that off. So next up, you want to take the cistern lid off. Sometimes they come with the flush buttons that have a little screw or thread, and that goes into there to stop you pulling the cistern lid off. So if you can't seem to get the cistern lid off, give that a go, give it a twist, and it should come out. So you just need to remove them 2 screws at the back of the cistern and the 2 screws at the bottom of the toilet. So it's a bit difficult to see, well you can't see, but just removing the inlet flexi hose that goes onto the inlet of the cistern, and then once that's done, then the toilet can come out. So once you've got all your screws and fittings disconnected, you should just be able to give it a little tug, wobble it side to side, and it should come out of the pan connector at the back. So it's always worth just swapping out the old pan connector, because you don't want to fit the new toilet with all new fittings and the old pan connector leak. So just get yourself a new one and just push it in the pipe. What I tend to do is use a little bit of hand soap on the kind of finned rubber bit that goes into the pipe, because it just helps it slide in a bit easier and stops the fins from tugging and pulling it off. So I'm just getting the new toilet out of the box. It is literally called a bog in a box. So I've got the old toilet out. I've just propped it up on top of the old cistern lid just to stop any dripping, but that's the new toilet and the new cistern, and we've got all the other bits over there. So I'm just going to show you where all the different parts it comes with go in the cistern. So the 2 smaller holes either side are for the mounting bolt, the big holes for the flush, and the smaller one there is for the fill valve. So obviously that threaded part goes through the big hole and then tightens up. Smaller one, obviously, like I said, for the fill valve. Got like a washer and a nut for the fill valve there, and the fixing kit. So first off, going to fit the flush valve. So get the nut off, but leave the black washer on, because that's what seats against the inside of the cistern. So once you've got that through, get the nut and just snug it on. This one came with a little spanner that's meant to tighten it up, but it was just useless. So I used a big pair of grips instead. So just going to fit the fill valve now. In the bag it came with the rubber washer that goes onto the fill valve and into the cistern. So you'll see there's a slight dome or concave on it that wants to be pushed down towards the hole. And again, once you've got that in, then just snug up the nut and tighten with a spanner. So now we're going to fit the mounting bolts that hold the cistern to the pan. So empty out the package or bag and then get one of the long bolts. You want to put the washer, the flat washer on, and then you want to put the domed washer on. The dome goes down or towards the bottom of the cistern, and do this with the other one as well. So what you want to do is locate the two smaller holes in the bottom of the cistern and poke the bolts through. Next you want to grab another flat washer and that goes on the thread. And then the two nuts that come with it as well. And you want to tighten them on really snug. So for this I'm using a 10mm ratchet spanner from Weira. It just works so much better than an adjustable. So now comes the Doughnut Washer. That's what this washer is called. Goes over the threads of the flush valve, so it creates a seal between the water that's being flushed from the cistern down into the pan. And then those bolts, there'll be two holes on the cistern, two smaller holes. Just locate them with those two bolts and snug her in. Right, so there's those two bolts with the nuts on. Just try and keep it level across the gap, level across the cistern and the pan. And now it's time to push it back in. So once you've done all that, all you need to do is stick couple of screws in the two holes on the bottom of the pan, and there's also two at the back of the cistern that need to be screwed back to the wall. And there you go, you just fitted a toilet. So this is what was wrong with the old one. As you can see, it's just mastic everywhere. Water's been leaking for ages by the looks of it. So yeah, I mean, rather than fixing it up, just better to replace. Hey guys, so I've had a few people ask me about how I price jobs. So so I'm losing my voice today for some reason. I don't know. It's not COVID. I don't know. But got a few bits down that I'm going to go over. So for small jobs, for some jobs I have set prices, So for like a toilet repair, as in fill valve needs changing or the flush valve needs changing, it's 85. That's including materials. And then if it needs fill and flush, then 105. Kind of gone round all the other plumbers and kind of just got an average really. For tap replacements, so I mean, like kitchen tap is 70, because I do I normally supply, you know, new isolators or little fittings that go into the top of isolators for the flexi hoses to connect onto, that sort of thing. And then for outside taps with materials is 95. Sorry. So for outside taps with the materials, it's 95. For bathrooms and sort of bigger jobs, it's hard really to say how to price. I sort of when I go to a house, I sort of know a rough cost of what it's going to be. But yeah, normally I've got a spreadsheet that I use, and it's got, you know, I'll put how many days I'm going to be there, what the mileage is there and back, and basically just covering the overheads as well. And then that kind of, and then I'll put my material cost in, and it gives me a overall figure of basically the whole job. So say if I was there for, I don't know, say I was at a job for 3 days, then all I do is put 3 days, and then it would give me a price for the labour. Then that's kind of what I need to make each day, basically to cover costs. And then I'll put the material cost in, and then it kind of gives me a percentage on top of the materials. Sorry, on top of the profit. That's just and then it gives me a percentage on top of the labour. That's just for like profit for the business really, because obviously I'm, you know, I can make a living, but I need to also grow the business as well. So that's how I basically do it. I mean, it's hard to say. When you first start out, I really struggled with pricing jobs up. I mean, I was pricing bathrooms with not supplying the suite. That's one thing. I don't ever supply the bathroom suite unless the customer really wants me to. It keeps it nice and simple. So yeah, that's basically, you know, I don't price. I don't include suites and stuff or tiles. That's completely down to the customer, because the way I see it, if I was to supply the suite and a load of tiles, obviously allow for you know, breakages and cuts and stuff like that, but if 3 boxes of tiles or 4 boxes came broken, that's on me to sort out, when I've already got, you know, loads of other stuff going on. So, and the same with the suite. You know, I might buy it, it turns up, and then I go to fit it, and the customer's like, oh, you know what, I don't actually like that anymore. In person, it doesn't look like it did on the website. So I'll just try and get the customer to get it, and then, you know, not to obviously sound like a dickhead, but it's on them then. If it comes and they don't like it, then it's not anything to do with me. I don't have to stress about it. But yeah, I mean, when I first started out, I was pricing bathrooms for, you know, supplying the materials, as in the plumbing materials like pipe fittings, traps, just clips, stuff like that. I was pricing it at, well, I priced one when I first started out. That's tiling the whole room up to about 1.5 meters. And then in the shower area, all round, tanking it, first fix, second fix, tiling. I think I priced it at about £1,000. It's stupid. So obviously I thought, oh yeah, you know, I'm making some good money, but that's when I first started out on my own. So I didn't really factor in setbacks. I didn't count for that. you know, I'd allow 1 day for the first fix, 1 day for the tiling, 1 day for the grouting, then the 4th day for the second fix, and then the 5th day for cleaning up. And so obviously I just completely stressed myself out because I didn't get it done in time. I think I was about 3 or 4 days over, and obviously that's 3 or 4 days that I wasn't earning any money because I didn't feel like I could charge them anymore. So yeah, I mean, pricing, it's a difficult game really. Like for bathrooms and stuff. I mean, for little jobs, it don't really make much difference, you know, unless you're charging 300 quid to, I don't know, change a tap, then, you know, you can't really go too wrong. I mean, for the smaller jobs, what I tend to do is have like a 65, I think it's £65 an hour for the first hour, sorry. If I'm going to be there for an hour, it's £65 plus materials, whatever. And then, yeah, I mean, a lot of people kind of struggle with the bigger stuff because, I mean, you pick it up over time. You know, it just becomes easier to price because you've got to factor in overheads, mileage. You know, if you're traveling 10 miles a day, then you've got to count that into your cost for the fuel, because otherwise you're losing money on the fuel and stuff like that. But yeah, so emergency call outs. So I have kind of 3 different prices. My first price for an emergency call out is between 9 and 5, just a normal working day. That's £85, minimum charge, obviously, depending on what it is. So, and then between 6 and 10 p.m, it's minimum 100, just because, you know, around that time, I want to be getting home, spending a bit of time with my kids, having some food, you know, just chilling out. And then obviously between 10 o'clock at night and 9 in the morning, it's £200 minimum. Some say that might be too cheap, but yeah. Sorry, a customer called. Yeah, so with the between 10 o'clock at night and 9 in the morning, obviously, I mean, if it's, you know, 8:45 or 7:30, then it will just go to the 85 mark. If I mean, if I've got nothing really booked in until, say, I don't know, 9:30, then I'll do it for a normal rate, you know, not an emergency call out. But you know, if it's sort of 3 in the morning, then it's minimum £200, and that's to go out and make it safe. And then really, I mean, you can charge what you want for emergency call outs if it's, you know, late at night, but at the same time, try and keep in mind that price fairly, because, you know, that customer might have, you know, there might be a landlord and have 15 houses that they want doing up and stuff. So if you go out and you charge them a fair price, then they're more likely to give you the work for all the rest of the houses, you know. So yeah, I mean, with pricing, just kind of, it's difficult for me to say, you should price this, you should price that, because obviously in different areas, you know, different prices. I mean, over here, you know, the normal amount might be £60 to do something. In London, it might be £150, you know. It all just kind of depends on where you are. But one thing, how to kind of work it out. So this is basically, I'm not saying how you should charge or what you should charge, but this is kind of how I work it out as to what, you know, I need to make. So the first thing to do is just go around, work out the average price from your local plumbers and stuff, because you don't want to be too low, you don't want to be too high. You want to be just in the middle, because that's 90% of the time that's where people go, because they're not going to want the cheapest. They're probably not going to want the second cheapest. They're not going to want the most expensive. So if you're kind of in that middle ground, you should be all right. But how to kind of work it out is kind of add up your personal expenses. So for me, like rent, because I haven't got a mortgage yet, but rent, council tax, you know, your personal fuel, your shopping, just stuff like that, stuff that you spend on in a month, that isn't, you know, brand new trainers every month, you know, that sort of thing. So you put a price or how much that all comes to for a month, and then add your overheads. So like your van insurance, van tax, trade insurance, that sort of thing. And if you've got, say you're renting like a warehouse or a unit to keep stock and stuff in, then add that in. And then what I like to do is I like to add a small percentage on top of the materials, because that just covers the you know, the driving to go and get the materials, the time that you've spent to go and get the materials to come back to the job. Or I mean, normally what I'll try and do is get up at 7, or leave at 7, leave the house at 7, go to merchants, get everything I'm going to need for that day, and then I'm not wasting time, but still add a small percentage on top of your materials just to cover, you know, something might break, or you buy an isolator and it doesn't work properly, it drips out the actual screw. So just factor that in, and then what profit you want to make that month on the business, for the business. So I typically kind of work to like a 30%, 40% profit in the business, because that covers stuff like van brakes. That's it. You're fine. You can either go and get a new van or get it repaired or whatever. Because when I first started out, I had a meeting with somebody, and he really helped me with how I price everything. Because I mean, I was basically charging what I needed to make a day for my labour. I was putting 5% on top of that, and then material costs, and I wasn't even putting a markup on the materials. So really what I was doing was basically making what I needed to make in the day or in the month to cover my bills and overheads. So really, I was earning a living, but I wasn't growing the business, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to grow the business. I wanted to be kind of successful, you know. So work out what profit you want to make. So yeah, typically sort of 25, 30, 40% for the month. And then divide that by, so add all that figure together and then divide it by 28 for 28 days. And that'll kind of give you your basic day rate, basically. So that's kind of how I'll work it out. And I've got a spreadsheet that I use on Excel. It's a book, like a workbook. So I've got my yearly track sheet. So how I'm doing throughout the month of the year. So in that I've got like profit or what I've invoiced, and then material costs, overhead costs, and then profit from the job, or from the month, sorry. So I can kind of keep track of where I am. If there's areas that need tweaking, say I'm, spending a lot of money on materials, more than I need to, so it's kind of elevating the job price, then I'll look elsewhere or have a word with the merchants and see if they can do me a better deal on some stuff. So that's like my yearly track sheet, and I can kind of keep an eye on how the business is running. And then I've got like my quoting tool. So basically what I just explained there, the personal expenses, overheads, materials, and then what profit you want to make. I've kind of made a Excel spreadsheet where it's got, all I need to do is put how many days I'm doing, what the material cost is, and how many miles the job is. And what that does is then at the end figure, it gives me, what I need to make plus a bit for the growth of the business, and then so I say, let's say £200 materials, and then it will add a little percentage on top of that for just to cover any extra materials I might need, collection of materials, you know, stuff like that. And then with the mileage, it's typically sort of 50p a mile, basically. I know it's not a lot. I mean, on most jobs it'll probably add like a few quid onto the job, but at least I know that I've allowed for that fuel cost, and you know, so it's not eating away at my profit. Because like I keep saying, you know, at the end of the day, I'm trying to run a business, so I want it to be as efficient and as profitable as possible, really. But yeah, so that's pretty much how I do. Also on the spreadsheet, I've got my monthly job sheet. So whatever job it is, you know, it doesn't even matter if it's I'll go around to have a look and there's nothing obvious I can see, or they just wanted a bit of advice on something. I'll write that down. So the name, the job address, the job description, and then I have like the date that they called, or you know, appointment was made, and then the date that the work was carried out. And then I'm just trying to remember because my computer's not here, but and then kind of what the total invoice cost, so what I put, what the customer paid, and then how much the materials were and stuff like that. So it kind of keeps me on track of where things are going. And you know, if somebody calls up from a different number and says, oh, you did a job for me this long ago, could you come back out and do something else, then I've got all their information on this spreadsheet, so it's nice and easy. And yeah, and then that way I can kind of work out like loyal customers, if you like, because I like to look after loyal customers, people that just keep coming back. I've got a few now, really, really good customers that, you know, they don't matter what it is, they give me a call, even if it's just for a bit of advice. I'm more than happy to help, and then I'll help them out with a bit of the price as well, because, you know, repeat work's always good. It's all well and good, you know, going to a job, charging the earth, getting paid for it, but you're never going to get any repeat business. And how 90% of my work comes through is recommendations, so or referrals. So, you know, little Doris down the road might be chatting to somebody and they say, oh, I don't suppose you know a plumber, I've got a leak in tap. And she'll be, ah, yeah, I know exactly the person who you should use. That's the kind of customers, and that's the kind of rapport that you want to build with customers. But yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure what else to say. I've kind of covered all of what I can think, really. But yeah, so this video, somebody said about doing a bit more of a tutorial type thing. So, and I wanted to do this pricing as well, but so what I've done is just done a little tutorial at the beginning, how to change the toilet, and then obviously the main bit, which is the pricing, which a lot of people want to see. So yeah, I quite enjoy doing these videos, where I'm just helping people out, talking through things that they might struggle with. So if you've got any more suggestions for stuff, just let me know, and I'm more than happy to do it. Because this week I've got a load of jobs that are basically exactly the same, so I couldn't really get much content for you guys that isn't exactly the same thing, because I could imagine that's really boring. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope this video has helped. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. We've now hit 2,000 subscribers, which is just mental, because I mean, it took 6-7 months to get to 1,000, and then a week and a half to get to 2. So yeah, that's really happy. So yeah, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.